shoulders off balance, I'm back on my the Bentley is dirty, my sneakers is dirty, but that's how I like it. You all on my I'm all in my bag, as hard as it get. I do not slow powder, I might take a sip, I might hit the flip, but I'm live on the trip. I ain't cooking no beer, but you do as you wish. I roll with some things, I love you.
We continue on V3 Fight 73 live on Flow Combat alongside Jason Lederfine. I'm Greg Gaston. We move into the V3 Fights middleweight division, and this is Jason the Assassin Todd. And here's a guy who took this fight on short notice, an independent fighter out of Memphis by way of Brooklyn, New York, looking for his first win at 0-3, and he'll take on Thomas Szymanek, the Polish Hammer.
When you say short notice, I don't think that gives this credit enough. A few hours notice. Thomas had two opponents both pull out. One pulled out today after weighing in yesterday, just ghosted on us. Jason Todd stepped up and said, I will get in there and I will take the fight. You can't thank guys like that enough.
Right. And we see it, unfortunately, often in the MMA world, but all the credit in the world to this guy, Jason Todd, the assassin, to take the fight again on hours' notice. He's 25 years of age, a stand-up fighter. And this will be interesting because he likes to stand up. We know that Szymanek, who you'll meet in a second, loves to box. They call him, as I said, the Polish Hammer. He's originally from Radom, Poland, but now fighting out of Memphis, Tennessee. So let's go ahead and meet the Polish Hammer, Thomas Szymanek, who's fighting out of the Tishka Boxing Club. So the Polish Hammer, I'm told by our crew, make that Jason Todd, I'm told by the crew, was actually pulling wire for this production.
I just pulled him off the door 20 minutes ago to go get warmed up.
That's incredible. And it will become even more incredible if he can win this fight. But look at this guy, the Polish Hammer, Thomas Szymanek, who is making his debut at the ripe old age of 40 years young.
Just turned 40 years old. Said this is a bucket list. He's gotten himself in great shape. Actually played football at the University of Memphis back in the day. Owns a construction company. And I can tell you this place is packed to see him tonight.
He'll have Joe Pass and Daniel Szymanek in his corner. He's got a lot of folks here rooting him on. Let's meet the two in this V3 Fights middleweight division battle.
This bout is brought to you by Cloud9 Smoke and Vape Shop. And is set for 3 3-minute rounds in the middleweight division. When the bell rings, the referee in charge, the man, the third man inside the cage, is Omar Sutton. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the gray trunks, stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighed in at 185 pounds. Independently fighting out of Memphis, Tennessee, by way of Brooklyn, New York, it's Jason the Assassin Todd! And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the orange corner. He's wearing the black trunks, stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighed in at 185 pounds, making his MMA debut. Representing Tishka Boxing and fighting out of Memphis, Tennessee, by way of Radom, Poland, it's Thomas, the Polish Hammer, Szymanek!
How about that? I don't know if he wants to call it a bucket list, but the Radom, Poland product now fighting out of Memphis, Thomas Szymanek, will make his MMA debut at the age of 40. Omar Sutton is the third man in the cage.
Bucket list was his exact term.
Round one, here we go. You feel bad for Todd. He takes the fight 3 hours before the fight, and they're booing the poor guy.
Well, when you have a couple hundred people here to support you, you know.
Exactly. Szymanek misses with the left hook. Nice
Gets
right,
that overhand
right. Combination gets to Todd. Todd covering up now. Now Todd will try to hold him at bay, but Szymanek, like a rock'em sock'em robot. Overhand right. Todd in trouble. Trying to keep those Polish fists at bay. Not called the Polish hammer for nothing. Big sigh from Todd as he survives the first flurry from the Polish hammer.
Thomas has his arms down. Looking a little winded.
Thinking about a kick, pulls back, trying to get his composure there. He's no doubt he's breathing heavily out of that mouth after the first flurry of activity. Todd hasn't really thrown a punch yet, nor a kick. He's giving Szymanek time to get his composure back.
Thomas really needs to start throwing some punches here. Don't know how much that took out of him. Making your debut, 40 years old. It's a whole different world in a cage than it is in the practice room.
Lead right, now another right by Szymanek. Todd trying to protect himself here as we go under a minute and a half to go in round one. You need to see Jason Todd try to throw some punches here.
Szymanek trying to get back to the center of the cage.
If we see this fight go to the ground, it's probably because somebody slipped. These guys want to stand and bang here.
Thomas really trying to pick his punches here. He's got to get busy. He's got to put some combos together. Jason Todd has the ability to kick. He's been in the cage before. He's been under the lights.
He's really respecting Szymanek's punching power. He's staying away from him. Szymanek, if he's want to do some damage here, he needs to be the aggressor. You have Todd kind of backpedaling there. 40 seconds to go in round one.
Hear the crowd getting behind Thomas, the Polish hammer. A strong Polish community in the Memphis area.
No question about it. You're right about Szymanek trying to pick his time to come forward, but meanwhile, Jason Todd not doing much. There's a kick from Szymanek, our first kick of the match.
Just a straight kick up to the stomach.
Final seconds here in round number one. A 40-year-old making his debut, and a 25-year-old who just got the fight 3 hours before it started. And a little flurry there at the end of the round by Szymanek.
One of the things to remember is that adrenaline dump that Szymanek has not felt or experienced before that Jason Todd has. So Szymanek in the corner getting some instructions with his boxing coach. See Jason Todd over there with Corey Sprague in his corner. Corey, just a great stand-up guy that volunteered to help Jason Todd out in this fight. Szymanek has his brother. I believe Joe Pass is with him and his dad.
Well, getting back to this young man, Jason Todd, I can guarantee you, Corey's telling him, come on, man, you got to throw some punches. You got to be aggressive. And you took the fight. You don't want to be in there just to be a punching bag for Szymanek. Go after him. And there's no question, if he can move around, get some shots in, duck away. I mean, Szymanek is still breathing heavy, and it's understandable. This is a 40-year-old making his debut. Who knows how many more fights he'll have, if any. This is a bucket list, and he's trying to come out of this victorious in front of many, many people that are here to see him. Round two, here we go on V3 Fights. I mean, he looked exhausted just put his hand up there as they touched gloves. Todd 0-3 in his MMA career. Of course, these are all amateur fights tonight here on V3 Fight 73.
Szymanek really looking to try to, finish this fight with a single punch, but you've got to be able to throw more than one. You've got to go with the mentality that I've got to land 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row.
You just feel the more aggressive of the two will win this fight. Szymanek, nice counter after the kick from Todd.
It looks like Thomas is actually getting a little mad here, starting to get aggressive. Still has his hands down.
There's some big mallets, man. If he connects, I think we'll feel it here broadcasting this.
Szymanek not really really throwing the jab, utilizing that jab. He's been working boxing, the Tishka Boxing Club, working with Joe Pass.
Lead right off the mark. Now he comes forward with that jab. Now he's trying to use the jab, so he's apparently listened to you. Meanwhile, Todd's moving those hands around, but not much. Not even close. Just keeping his distance from Szymanek.
Szymanek, what he worried about was getting the cage and getting stage fright. He said he knew if he could get there and threw the first punch, it'd be over, and luckily he was able to do that. He's just kind of throwing those blows now, some uppercuts.
Now the two in a clinch. That was an interesting few seconds because Todd's adjusting his trunks there, and Szymanek tried to seize the opportunity there of having his opponent not ready.
About a minute left in this round. Could we see a third round? Are either of these guys going to have anything for it? Again, Thomas just kind of looking for that one punch, but we haven't seen any offense from Jason Todd yet.
And Szymanek's not happy. He's got his hands on his hips. Now the kick, but again, not much behind that. And you almost think Todd can jump on him here because Szymanek is either playing possum or he's just dead tired. And that's the first, I think, punch thrown by Todd, if I'm not mistaken.
40 years old under those lights after training for 4 weeks. It's a lot on you.
Omar Sutton saying, come on, let's get going here. Final 30 seconds, round 2.
But to know Thomas, he said he hasn't weighed this in almost 20 years, what he weighs tonight.
Wow, how about that?
So
here's a kick from Todd.
Hats off to him to getting himself back in shape.
Another kick from Todd, another one, so back-to-back in succession. Under 10 seconds to go in round number 2. And that's going to do it. I mean, the two shaking hands, there's a lot of sportsmanship, but boy, Szymanek is gassed. I mean, as you said, he's 40 years old, he's under the lights, he's getting a lot of fluids right now. Todd can win this fight if he really wants it. He can win this fight.
I think if he becomes the aggressor and he starts moving forward and puts a lot of pressure on Szymanek, he can end this fight.
Here's the problem for him. If he doesn't get aggressive and it goes to the cards, Szymanek, who didn't do a lot, has done much more than Todd through 2 rounds.
I agree.
And he'll lose the fight.
I agree.
But I think Todd can certainly take advantage of it. There you see.
You see Joe Pass talking to Szymanek. I don't know what the game plan is. Is it, hey, let's shoot for a takedown. Let's make some excited. Let's get on the ground. Let's see what we can do.
And on the flip side, Szymanek finds his energy again, throws a couple of punches, connects a couple of times, and he wins the thing going away.
You see his dad getting in his face, yelling at him, you better wake up, you get in there. The Polish fans came out in just record numbers tonight.
Who wants it more? Todd, Szymanek, round 3. Here we go on V3 Fights. V3 Fights middleweight division battle. Up kick started out by Szymanek, and there's an overhand right on a counter. Todd nods his head in approval. Todd a little more active now with the kicks. He did a little more of it at the end of the second round. But it's one kick and backs up.
Kind of trying to work the body there, throwing that big overhand right.
That's when you got to counter. On a nice lead there by Szymanek, but you got to follow it. It's basically been one punch, no counter, no combination.
He's gonna feel a little sore tomorrow, I'll tell you that.
No question about it. Todd really moving those gloves around. We had a chance right there for a left to the midsection. You see it there, but not a lot of pop. He's throwing it and he's making sure he's moving back.
As I mentioned, Szymanek, the owner of Victor Hall Construction, has his employees here, has pretty much the whole Polish community here tonight.
Well, Todd actually hit him with a left there. Overhand right by Szymanek, no, and then he comes back with a left hook. A little more action now.
Like you mentioned, he's just not throwing combos. He'll throw one overhand. Todd really been working those kicks all fight, but really not effective yet. Todd just pushing those jabs away. Thomas throwing that straight.
Yeah, Szymanek's throwing more punches, but Todd's able to defend them pretty easily because he's telegraphing them. Again, it's one punch and that's it. The crowd chanting his name. Who wants this thing? 1:18 to go in the third and final round.
Thomas with
nice
a big
counter.
overhand right there, and another one.
He caught him. He caught Todd. And now he backs away. This is the time you really need to seize it. He's out of gas. There's no question about it. But he connects with Todd. Uppercut. Another one by Thomas Szymanek, the Polish Hammer.
And he gets Todd in danger, and he backs up. That's just inexperience. That's, unfortunate for Thomas. He's only been training for about 4 weeks for this fight.
In the meantime, Todd with that kick, there's not a lot of pop behind it. And if he wants to win this fight, he's going to have to throw some punches. That last 30 seconds of flurry of activity, you never know what's going through the judge's minds. Jimbo Surratt, Scott House, Joe Stolniker will judge this fight if it does end up going to the cards, and apparently it's in that direction. I doubt we're going to see any type of knockout here. This is a fight that has been more a boxing match, strictly throwing punches and, of course, some kicks. Final seconds here in the third round. Nice overhand right by Todd, but he waited to the final seconds. And that will do it. That will end the fight. Thomas Szymanek, his debut, a bucket list fight. He's so excited. And look at the sportsmanship by Jason Todd. He knows it's his moment. He felt that. Here's a guy who took the fight 3 hours before